Hello everyone, in today's topic we are going to discuss about domain testing. First of all, we have to learn what is meant by a domain. Domain is nothing but a specific area of activity where it has knowledge or logic or a process. Generally, it refers to a specific area of activity which has knowledge on software project or behavior which aims to solve the problems. Next, coming to domain testing. In domain testing, in previously we have said which has a specific area of activity. In this domain testing, domain is a set of input values like when we are going to execute in a program, in that we have some input values like a is equals to 0, b is equals to 1 in some programs. A domain is a set of input values that cause a program to execute a specific path or behavior. This is called domain testing. For example of a domain testing, a program might have different code paths. Code paths for positive, negative, and 0. These are the values can be input. Each of the set of values defines a domain. This set of values defines a domain. How domain works? First of all, we have 4 categories. First one is identifying domains. Second one is determining boundaries. Third one, selecting the test cases. And fourth one, execute and verify. First, coming to the identifying of boundaries, which includes, first of all, we have understand the logic of the program and identify different input domains, which is nothing but the values based upon the program requirements and specifications. Coming to second one, determining the boundaries. First of all, we have to identify boundaries between the different domains, which the values that separate one domain from another, which means here we categorize as positive, negative and 0 domains. Determining boundaries means nothing but separating the boundaries, identifying the boundaries between different domains and separating one domain from the another. Third one, in this we have to identify the test cases. For each domain, select one or more input values for the test. These test cases should represent the typical values and edges and invalids within the domain, which is nothing but we have to inbuild the test cases with different values to execute it properly and correctly, and we have to get the output as correct resolution. Fourth one, execute and verify. In these we have to run the program with selected test cases and giving the input, and we are getting the correct output as expected for the given input domain. In previously select test cases, in these we have inbuilding the test cases with different values to get correct resolution. In this, executing and verifying the test cases whether they are working properly or not. Domain and interface testing. These both are used for same purpose. Coming to domain testing treats program as a classifier, mapping input values to specific paths within the program, which is nothing but which this program can be classifies input values to specific paths within the program. For example, we build the code 1 is an input value and it goes to this condition whether it can be executed or not, and if the condition pass, it can be yes or no. This is called domain testing, and interface testing is nothing but focus on interaction between different modules or systems. Module is nothing but a set of programs. Here we have 3 programs, and this is an interface between. This is domain 1 and domain 2, and this is called an interaction to get compatibility. Interface is nothing but focusing on interaction between different modules or systems, specifically the compatibility of input and output values. Because interface is used because getting the compatibility of input and output values, which means fixed or correct input and output values. To domain testing, in these the main goal is to achieve that the program correctly classifies the input values into respective domains and executes corresponding path. In previous videos we have known that what is meant by path and everything else. In this domain, which classifies input into respective domains for executing corresponding path. In this domain testing, the method includes input space into domains based on predicates and selecting test cases. To cover these domains, particularly boundaries and closures can be used. These can be applications of domains and interface testing, these boundaries, closures. For example, if a statement checks the number is greater than 0, it can be executed into one domain, and less than or equal to 0, it can be executed into domain 2, which is nothing but it is giving greater than 0. This is one of the input value to one domain, this greater than 0, and this input value to another domain, which classifying the input values into respective domains and executes corresponding path. Coming to the interface is nothing but ensuring the output of a calling routine which is compatible with input requirements and values are called routine. This can be also called as callers. Interface is nothing but mapping between the two systems or two domains to get correct flexible output. We are giving correct input values and input requirements to it, which is nothing but mapping between callers, domain and range. These can be one of the applications of domain and interface testing. Interface testing, we give one function which returns the integers between 0 to 10, which can be executed to the one functional domain, and we are giving the input values like 5 to 100 and 20 or 30 or anything else. These can be executed to the one of the interface, and this can be known as interface testing, which can be used to verify that the output of the first function fits the input range of the second function. That's it. And coming to the relationship between domain and interface testing, interface testing can be considered as a specific type of domain testing, as it is focused on the compatibility of the domain across different modules. And previously I have told that interface testing is nothing but interactions between two modules for compatibility of input requirements and values. Secondly, both techniques aims to minimize the risk of errors, ensuring that inputs are handled correctly and different parts of the software interact as expected. These 2 points are nothing but relationship between domain and interface testing. Both are used for same purpose and which are used for minimizing the risk of errors.